wanting. You're not human. You're a depraved, disgusting example of how bad humanity can be to each other. You need to go away and learn how to be human beings before you come and tell us how to be human. We have fought a war. We still fight that war. That war will continue whatever the white greed covers your eyes with your own lies. We have no fear of the truth. We embrace the truth. It is part of our culture, part of our bloodline, part of our timeline here. You need to learn. Truth will set you free. We're already free because we have truth. The only thing that enslaves us are your lies. Time to grow up, white Australia. Time to recognise there is a price to pay for the depravity and the barbarity you brought to our country. When that time comes, don't look to us for sympathy because you've used that all up. You have been so cruel, so heartless, and you still carry on as if that's the right way to conduct your business and conduct yourself.
Mic check. One, two, one, two, one, two. Yes, yes, once again, back inside the lab, Soda Sound Lab. This is Black Dot Chronicles. And I am your host, The Nine Cypher. Welcome. Friday night on my side of the pond. Friday morning for most who probably will listen to this first. That clip I played was from a resistance rally back in 2014. This beautiful auntie said it so succinctly and so crystal clear. We have humanity because we are, no doubt, the man on this planet. It's not up to indigenous people, black and brown people, to ensure that the white people amongst us who choose to indulge and engage in disagreeable tactics and how they dealt with us for the past 2,000 plus years, right? It's not up to us to set that straight. Some things you have to do for yourself, and that's one of them. So anyway, it's just one of those days, long day, long week on the grind, and I guess this is probably something I think about every day, but today feels like a good day to talk that shit. So come one, come all. Bring an open mind. And that Bob Marley. It's a couple things I want to talk about. So this is really for my USA audience, my American audience, but specifically my Black Americans, and more specific, those ones who were born on that soil, and their parents and their parents and their parents and their parents before them. were born on that soil. So I'm talking to right now. I just want to go back in the time machine for a little bit and do as we do in Black Dot Chronicles, lay out some receipts so people can clearly see this game that's been played on the American public right now. This game of divide and conquer. The game is to bring America to its knees economically, socially, mentally, physically, metaphorically, allegorically, however you want to say it. That's what it is. So I'm pretty spotty with this social media, meaning I'm not on this every day or every other day or even every other month, honestly. So you don't hear from me like that, but I am aware and I pay attention to what's going on, and I have been for a while now, right? But back when I was on social media relatively consistently, from like 09 to 2012, I had a good 3-year run. Then I just couldn't deal with it anymore, you know. Plus, I'm a busy guy. But in Black Dot Chronicles, the group during that time, myself along with a lot of brilliant and bright men and women, boys and girls, gods and goddesses, kings and queens, dropped a lot of receipts, speaking on a lot of topics across the board. But this one particular string of receipts is very critical to what's going on now. So I just wanted to, like I said, jump back in the time machine and kind of go over this. Can you see that? Just blew that up a little bit for you. Blew it up. Hopefully you can see that, but excuse me. Here is one of the main receipts that I will speak on. This, if you see the date, this was actually not the initial post, but this particular post was 2012, November 18. So pretty much, November 2012 of 18th, right? So that's roughly 8 years ago plus a week. But I actually initially started dropping these posts before 2012, before Obama came into office, and during his first term. As I said, I pretty much fell off right at the beginning of his second term with regards to social media. Anyway, what I was showing here was something that I saw was quite disturbing, so I thought I should chronicle it. Not really, anyway, I just thought I should chronicle it. Black Dot Chronicles, right? So I wrote more proof of how the beast establishment is now unraveling the next phase of the takeover. Race war followed by civil war. 2012. And again, as I said, this is not even the first article that I dropped on this. A couple of them disappeared mysteriously, but you see the point. The reason why I put this and the reason why I'm going back to this is because even prior to 2012, as I said, as soon as Obama started running, and I saw some very disturbing signs that this was going to turn into exactly what it has, or what they're trying to make it: a race war followed by a civil war. No coincidence that Obama, during his 8-year reign, more black and brown blood was spilled in the street at the hands of police than any other time probably since the 60s, when supposedly we were fighting for our freedom at that point. So the question is, what did I know back in 2008 through 2012 that would spur me to write this post? Well, one of the main things I saw was the accumulation of guns and ammo 6 months prior to Obama entering office, and throughout the 8 years that he served as president of the corporation of the United States. During that time, there was more ammo and guns purchased collectively than the entire history of the corporation of the United States. So from 1776 until 2008, the total amount of munitions registered for sale doesn't even come close to the amount of munitions and guns purchased during Obama's reign. That's one. Two, the rhetoric from your conservatives, from your liberals, from your Democrats, from your Republicans. This divisive rhetoric, this black-white, Obama's a Muslim, he's not really American, yada yada yada, where's the birth certificate, all of this noise, right? Meanwhile, as I said, black and brown men and women dying in the streets, in their homes, from trees, from the back of pickup trucks, at the hands of these so-called supremacists, white supremacists. The cops that perpetuate this racist system under the guise of serve and protect. The laws that have been consistently passed since they, quote unquote, freed us from slavery. From the black codes to Joe Biden's quite fascist and quite disruptive to black and brown families, the crime bill that he authored and sponsored back in 1994. So you got all of this going on, and throughout this 8 years, from this particular post until now, what's the body count? Roughly, what's the body count? Have we come any closer together as a nation of people? We are more divisive now than ever before. As far as my time on the planet, we are more divisive. So only thing I'm going to say about this is don't fall for the okie doke. Right now, somewhere George Bush Sr. is probably doing the Cabbage Patch in his grave right now. He's so excited about what's going on. They must feel like they're in a moment of like a victory dance, so to speak, because they think they got us. They want us to point our guns and our angst, our anger our fear at one another, as opposed to these so-called elite, the deplorables, who behind the scenes are drawing up laws and regulations that will forever change the face of America and the planet, honestly, if we allow that to happen. If we continue and maintain this level of distraction based on some black-white shit. And again, anyone who knows and understands this system, this global system, knows and understands that racism is a part of that. And the only individuals who can execute racism are the controllers and the gatekeepers. If you're not one or two of those things, then you don't have anything to do with the system of racism, and they don't give a shit about you. I'm talking to white people right now. All right? Look at what they did to you in 2008. They took your homes. They raided your bank account. And what did they do? They gave it to old, rich, white men. Mostly. Your people, right? Did they give a shit about you in 2008? I'm talking to you in Tennessee. I'm talking to you in West Virginia. I'm talking to you in Texas, Wyoming. I promise you I got more in common with you than any of these people who you cheerlead for and who you support. This is what you have to understand. So don't fall for the okie doke. Don't allow this distraction, the media, this programming to force us into a bloodbath, because you know what's going to happen after that? As soon as we deplete ourselves with the nonsense, they're going to come in with the UN to mop everything up. And by the time we realize what's going on, it may be too late. By the time we turn our scopes on the true enemy, it may be too late. If it's too late for America, then probably it's too late for everybody. Because this is just a template, right? This is a simple template. It's no coincidence that the moment Trump got into office, all of these places, Australia, all over the EU, all of a sudden, everybody become conservative, right? Everybody wants to, circle the wagons. Nobody wants to let any immigrants in. All of a sudden, migrants are the problem, right? These are the talking points. Xenophobia is running wild and everybody's applauding it. Is this a coincidence? Or orchestrated attack to the unknowing masses who fall for it hook and sinker plus the line every single time? Alright, so that's just my little PSA with regards to this aspect of what I really want to talk about. Everybody need to understand what the game really is. White people and black people, but specifically white people. These ones who want to hold on to this system and this establishment, and you want to buy this line that all of these other people that have melanin in their tone, black, brown, yellow, that we're your enemy. You're about to see who your true enemy is very soon. Still waiting on that stimulus check, right? That's your government. These are your people who tell you that everything is okay. To shut the hell up, sit on the sideline and wait for this money. But I'm telling you right now, there will be strings attached. Andrew Yang, the plant, subliminally got everybody thinking about universal basic income. Yeah, it's going to be very basic and definitely universal, meaning it's going to be completely centralized with a lot of strings attached. Alright? So this is what we're fighting against. Understand the true enemy, know what you're fighting for. Show this other. Bomb. So this post was from 14th December. I'm sorry, 2014, 2nd of December. This post. And actually, again, you can go find this video online wherever you watch your videos and just put in that title there, FEMA Modex HD. And you will see exactly what I'm talking about. Alright, so basically this is FEMA doing a drill where they're basically like showing you their new urban combat tactical type of scenarios. In these scenarios you see very interesting things regarding the inner city and black and brown people rioting, police rustling them up, and you know, all of this stuff, like this very similar to the things that have been going on since March of this year with George Floyd, and at the same time this COVID-19. So again, this is 2014. So 2012 I show you, 2014, and again there were much more updates that I'm not going to show right now, some because they're not there anymore for some reason, they've disappeared, but you get my point. This is well coordinated, well in advance, like they do most of their trickery. Alright, so don't think this is all just spontaneously popping off and you know, everybody just all out in the streets and everybody's just upset at the same time, all this shit like that or whatever. You know, a lot of this again is subliminal. Alright, so now I hope that that's gonna hit some people in the right spot, or whatever spot it hits you, as long as it hit you, you know what I'm saying? I'm open discussion, not really interested in debate so much, but if you got receipts, then you know, we can talk. So the actual title of this little nugget is A.D.O.S or P.O.W. Now obviously, if you don't know, when I say A.D.O.S, I'm speaking of American descendants of slaves. That's the acronym they've given to the so-called African American to establish some type of political position to get reparations. That's kind of the nutshell of it. American descendants of slaves. P.O.W. obviously stands for prisoners of war. So I'm simply asking a question. Are we really A.D.O.S or are we P.O.W? And those of us who say that we are A.D.O.S, why? Are you admitting that you are the descendant of a slave and that is our origin point in this story of America? Because if you are, I'm here to tell you that you have been thoroughly brainwashed. If you are born on that land, you are a black or brown, yellow woman or man, you are not descendant of slaves. You are descendants of prisoners of war. There's a big difference. Now, why do I say that? Why am I talking about prisoners of war as opposed to descendants of slaves, right? First of all, getting into the whole terminology of a slave, this is a term that comes from, or was derived dealing with the people of Eastern Europe, the Slavic region, right? So when you're talking about slaves, you're dealing with Slavs. So the Slavs were, in fact, the first slaves on the soil of the Americas and the islands of the Caribbean. The Slavs, right? Historical fact. On top of that, if you have always been autochthonous to a particular soil for hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of years, how can you then turn into a slave once a certain group of people come over and kind of co-opt the scenario over a couple of hundred years? If we were a slave, that means we were in bondage. That means we were, according to their story, we were brought there on boats from Africa, and we were on bondage, and we gained our freedom, and that's the mainstream storyline, right? But I'm here to tell you that that's not true. I am saying to you that we have always been here. We are the original, the Algonquin indigenous people of the Amadu Khan, right? We are not Negro, we're not Swarthy, we're not Tawny, we're not copper color, we're not burnt face, we're not African American. But we are Algonquin to the Americas and the Caribbean all day long. How you want to go? You want to look at the artifacts? You want to look at the records in your own Library of Congress? How do you want to go about this? Because it's going to all lead to one point. And this story is much more deeper than this, but I am just kind of like, again, a drop in the bucket of how deep and vast and expansive the story of the true indigenous people of the Americas. Alright? So I won't be too long because we'll definitely get into this a lot more, but I will show you a few images just to wet the palate, right? So this is taken from Ica, Peru. And these are part of like millions or thousands, at least, stones. They call it Ica stones that were pulled out of caves. And essentially, these stones depict a lot of things, and a lot of scenarios with humans and prehistoric type of animals. They were prehistoric animals. These individuals, by all accounts, appear to be black and brown men and women who rode pterodactyl and Brontosaurus like a horse. So that's what that is. And again, what you're looking at is an image of a wall painting in between 250 and 900 AD. Alright, this is a Totonaca painting in Veracruz, Mexico. Totonaca civilization. I'm just asking a question. No disrespect to any Native American, because again, we are blood on either side. North America, Central America, South America, anywhere, right? But does that look like anybody you would call a Native American? A Mexican? A Nicaraguan? Maybe there's some black Nicaraguans. There's black everywhere, you know what I'm saying? But you're stereotypical, what they present to you in modern times, these cats look nothing like anything that they will present to you today. Alright? So this is our history. It's more like some of the people in my family. Again, let me just slow this up a little bit so you can actually see it. Alright, so this is from Bonampak, Chiapas, between 600 and 900 AD. You got two brothers smoking on something. You can only assume what that is, right? It's not Marlboro. Put it like that. Again, just look, and these are obviously, these are original depictions here. These are actual artifacts that I'm showing you. So again, these brothers are darker than the ones I showed you before. But in their history books, we never saw anything close to this. This is just really a book and a copy. The one on the right is the original, called Yellow Thunder. And as they do, and have done many times throughout history, they give you the hijack over here. Alright, but this was the original version. This was the original book, the original cover. More depictions. I don't have the captions on this in front of me, but what you're looking at is like a war. I think this was in the mid-northwest somewhere, if I'm not mistaken, but again, you see the invaders, the hijackers, and you see these brown boys surrounding them, trying to get at them. So that's what that's depicting right there. Again, original depictions. This is from Bolton, Guatemala, AD 790. Again, where are these in our history books? Where are these in the libraries? Where are these on the silver screen? This cat will be light skinned compared to what I've shown you so far, but again, these are original depictions of what they found when they came over here, up and down the Caribbean islands, all through the Americas, north and south. It's deep. They knew exactly what they were looking for when they came over here. All you have to do is check their own writing. They literally wrote down before they came over who they were looking for, what they were looking for, what they thought they would find when they got here. Alright? Again, you had royalty. You had all of this indigenous royalty all up and down the Americas and the Caribbean. Black and brown and yellow. Everybody knows about the Olmecs, and the Olmec heads look like some brothers, definitely look like Jim Brown or some cats in my family or something like that, right? This is Vera Cruz, Mexico. They found a few of these in different places or whatever. They've tried to, throughout the years, all of these hip archaeologists and anthropologists or whatever, they'll tell you all these different stories, but again, we know what's what. All different colors, breaking bread. Probably some different tribes, whatever. All these are just taken from books that I actually have and documentation left by the invaders. Copper color. Swarthy. Burnt face. Original depictions. Where is this in your history book? Where is this in your history book? Right across the border. I think I've made my point. I won't go too much further and belabor that anymore, but we have a story, black people, and it's not anything to do with being an African and an American. We are Amadu Khans. We are tribal, and there have been many nations that have traveled and lived and blossomed on the continent of the Americas and the islands of the Caribbean. Black and brown, yellow, all the colors in between. We've been there millions of years. The geology, the archaeology, the anthropology, the genealogy. It's been rigged, and for a very specific reason, but we're gonna get into this for sure. We'll definitely get into this. It's just a lot. I mean, literally, if I started today and did a cast every day, it would take me about 6 years to bring you all of this information. It's that much. So anyway, I hope this has been fruitful for anybody, everybody. And yeah, we'll keep this up. A.D.O.S. or P.O.W. Which one are you? The 9 Cycle for Black Dot Chronicles. And we out.